All right, so I guess we're going to go ahead and get started. Once again, thank you all for coming in and joining us today. My name is Damon Agason. I am the marketing manager here at Clear Intelligence and Clear Technologies. Um, so the way today will work, I will go ahead and I'll do a quick intro, and then I will go ahead and bring on our speaker, Mr. Chuck Reeves from Hitachi. And then he'll run us through some solutions and some offerings that they have for for our helping get back to work and IT's role in creating that new normal. I'm marketing manager here at Clear Technologies. So Clear Technologies we're a value-added reseller in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. As part of Clear Technologies, we have two separate parts of our business. We have Visual Storage Intelligence, which is our storage analytics SaaS offering. And then we also have Clear Intelligence, which is our AI cognitive practice. And it falls right in line. So this is our 9th iteration of our Networking in Place series. So these were kind of started, out of necessity. I would say we had the majority of our plans were very event focused. And so as a way to try and, once everything happened, COVID-19 and the pandemic, we had to make a shift to be sure that we're trying to provide that value for our clients, and you're not able to get in front of people. And so we've moved to these webinars, and they've been great. We've had a lot of good positive response. And so this is our 9th iteration, and it just falls right back in line as a lot of, cities are starting to open up. They're relinquishing, some of the shelter in places, restaurants are opening up, and the workplaces are starting to open up, and there's a new normal that we have to face. Things won't be like they were before, and so we have to look at different ways and different solutions that will help us kind of navigate that new normal to make everyone in the workplace feel comfortable with going to work. There are certain everyone has different instances and everyone has different circumstances that would make them feel comfortable or not. And so Hitachi has developed some solutions that are, non-invasive, they're privacy protected. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to pass it on to Chuck Reeves. So Chuck is the sales director for the South Central region for smart spaces and video intelligence, and he's going to be the one to do our presentation. We'll give a quick 20 to 30-minute presentation. If you have any questions, please make sure you mention them in the chat, and then we'll get to those to the end. And so Chuck, if you would like to go ahead.
Well, good afternoon. Again, my name is Chuck Reeves. I'm the sales director for the Central U.S., as was mentioned. And I'm going to go through 3 solutions that Hitachi has been selling on the market during this COVID quarantine and COVID pandemic across the U.S. These solutions, although the use case is different for COVID solutions versus other smart spaces and video intelligence solutions, it all pulls from the same technology. So it's a reconfiguration of existing technology rather than reinventing the wheel and creating something new. This all comes from the Hitachi portfolio, which is the video. It includes social media, IoT devices, and also data integration through the platform. And we take advantage of that with the COVID solutions. The COVID solutions are made up of smart cameras and thermal cameras, as well as edge gateways, which are ruggedized devices that can be placed on the edge or in a data center. Sensors such as LiDAR and finger vein, along with visualization, and this is really where the video and the data feed to a central point for reporting, both real-time and reports on demand, as well as workflow, so we can make decisions from this visualization suite that create actionable items for either our employees or our first responders. So the idea behind COVID is really mitigation. So when we talk about mitigating ongoing impacts of COVID, this is really to prepare for any second and third wave of the virus that comes across the U.S. Or that appears in the U.S. We're starting to see some of that in Asia. So we want to be ready and have solutions in place and have activities in place and policies in place when that wave reaches the U.S. territory. Containment, the mitigation of spread. So if we can create solutions that allow for monitoring compliance with hand washing, allow for compliance of social distancing, those will be very helpful. Plus, the ability to collect that data on those particular activities for support and ongoing claims and even potentially lawsuits down the road when this pandemic eases and claims are being processed for exposure either in the workplace or in retail or corporate settings. Innovating policies to prepare. We work with our clients to enable policies and adapt technology to policies, and even vice versa, creating policies based on technology, along with developing response plans. And all of this reduces risk in the workplace. I'm going to talk about thermal sensing first. It's probably the most popular of the three solutions. And thermal sensing is done several ways. I'm going to show you a cart solution as well as a fixed solution that utilizes thermal cameras. And a little disclaimer, the solutions I'm showing you are not FDA certified. Although we may use FDA certified cameras, the integration of those cameras into the solution does not mean that the complete solution is FDA certified. We do adhere to best practices that the FDA recommends, and these solutions are used for screening and not medical evaluation. So the video on the lower right is a description, actually a real-time description of what takes place when we monitor for above threshold temperatures in individuals. The camera that we're currently using is an axis camera. We use other cameras as well, such as FLIR and Mobotics. These cameras are within our solution stack and are integrated with the platform that I'll be showing you. The cameras are generally selected on availability and turnaround time and market demand. So you'll see some cameras that there may be 4 to 8 weeks lead time required to get the camera in the house. We propose these solutions based on that lead time and again the camera availability. This is the portable cart. We call it the Hitachi thermal cart. The cart consists of a monitor, the stand on wheels, a mounted thermal camera, an edge gateway, and then communications back to the network and to the internet. The gateway sits on top of the device, and it manages the camera, it manages the analytics, it stores the data for a period of 2 weeks on the device itself. And that storage time can be extended based on the number of and length of video streams that are collected. This is an extensible enterprise level solution. So clients that use one cart can integrate this to their enterprise and store the data on their enterprise, or it can be integrated to the Hitachi Visualization Cloud for visualization and reporting. And when we do that, we can extend the solution and add multiple solutions, 20 carts, 30 carts, 40 carts to this solution for real-time visibility across either a corporate setting, a corporate campus, or factory settings in multiple geographic areas. The solution collects the image. It gives us an immediate pass or fail. So the fail would be a red box over the face. The green pass would be the green box would be a pass, which means a lower than threshold temperature, and the red would be an over threshold temperature. That data is stored on the gateway. It can be sent to the Visualization Suite cloud for viewing and analytics. And then it can be stored in an instant management archive for possible review and also the addition of other digital data or evidence in the event that it does consist of an HR action or court action down the road. This is how the solution operates. This is the overview. So people are queued, they move through the line single file. As they approach the camera, the temperature is read. It is displayed in either a pass or fail manner with the temperature described below the screen, and the person moves off. Red indications would cause the person to move to an area for additional screening and medical evaluation. A green, a lower than threshold pass signal would be indication the person could move on into the workplace or into the facility in question. On the right, we've listed some guidelines released on May 13th from the FDA. And these solutions are compliant with these criteria from the FDA, as you can see. And I'll move into a bigger and larger view of the part here in just a second. So in the solution, we do comply with FDA requirements. When we talk about measuring temperature, we're looking at the temperature of the surface skin at the time the person moves through the line, and that is on the face. And it is, if the person has been outside, we'll ask them to wait 15 minutes before being measured. So if they move from an exterior area into the building, pass through the scanner, and get a higher than temperature rating, part of that additional evaluation would be how long were they outside before coming into the building. The distance is 3 to 10 feet for evaluation, but that evaluation is instantaneous. And the reason we do it single file is, one, based on FDA best practices, as well as we have found that we get a more accurate temperature reading when we measure temperature in a single file protocol rather than in a group setting. This is a simple look at the solution architecture. So as I mentioned earlier, the carts are designed as standalone, but they also are enterprise level solutions, so they can be integrated to the customer's enterprise as well as the Hitachi Visualization Cloud for remote access and reporting. This allows us to track trends and site activity from each of the cameras. So we can have 20 to 30 cameras in this cloud viewing that activity in a single pane of glass view. The solution can also be monitored on site. There is a monitor on the part. It also has the ability to be monitored by a laptop or another monitor remotely on the local network. We also have a fixed solution. The fixed solution uses the same type of camera. The cameras are generally mounted on the wall at the employee, turnstile at the employee, time clock, or at the entrance of the facility. It can be used in conjunction with closed circuit television or security cameras. We can also add LiDAR to collect additional data, such as data on social distancing, as well as counting the movement of people, the queuing numbers of people in line to get into the facility, and so forth. Again, this activity can all be viewed on site, locally on the local monitor, or it can be moved to the cloud and viewed remotely, as well as viewing the reporting and data analytics remotely. The next two solutions are LiDAR-based solutions. They can be used in conjunction with thermal cart, or they can operate in a standalone fashion. The first solution is social distancing. I think we've all seen the X's on the floor when you go to the big box stores or the grocery store these days. This solution is actively monitoring those areas and looking at that 6-foot perimeter around each person. And we collect data on non-compliance of that social distancing activity. So why is this important? Well, if it was a perfect world and the social distancing was 6 feet and everybody complied with that 6 feet distance, then there wouldn't be an issue. But what we have found is that oftentimes this casual movement of people creates a violation of that social distancing regulation. We collect the data on that. That data is stored in the database. That helps the company support, one, that they are in compliance with social distancing. They're doing everything in their power to provide instructions and direction for social distancing. And then when these claims come about for exposure in the workplace, they can support and defend themselves with the data that has been collected over the period of time. The next solution is hand washing. It's really a hand wash monitoring solution. This solution was developed about 18 months ago for healthcare in the Midwest. Our healthcare client needed to provide a better way of monitoring compliance for hand washing. This was a non-surgical center and more of a convalescent center that had hand washing stations placed around the facility. The solution was installed, and it collects data on the use of, one, soap, the use of water, and the use of paper towels. So all three of those have to be affirmative. They all have to be true, or we get a negative compliance in the database. So there's no enforcement that takes place on this. It's simply to allow the business owner to monitor compliance and make corrective actions where they see fit based on non-compliant activity. When the LiDAR devices are networked together in a complete solution for a business, this is what you would see in the business. It can monitor the movement, the queuing of people, the social distancing, and the hand washing all in one solution. And something I didn't mention with LiDAR, it brings about and actually collects about 10 times the amount of data that a video camera, an IP camera collects. So there's a lot of data to report on. There's a lot of reporting capabilities associated with the use of LiDAR in this type of setting. And again, this is the last slide I have on the three solutions.
Can you hear me? I have a question, or am I muted here?
Yes, I can.
Yeah, what does this do about privacy laws, since everything is on camera and on movement here? How do we handle that?
Yeah, so the solutions can have privacy applications associated with them. I can show you those solutions. We can either pixelize the video, we can mask the video, or we can provide a complete pixelization for a particular location. So whether it's a face or the entire body of a person or a particular location that needs to be I'll call it privatized, we can do that within the solution itself. We also have the ability to monitor for the use of PPE devices such as face masks. So at the same time we're scanning for temperature, we can also scan for a use of a face mask or the absence of a face mask.
Okay, great. That's good. Thanks.
And I may have, let me just see if I've got that slide for privacy. I think I do. Yes, here it is right here. So again, privacy consists of either pixelization. So we can pixelize the entire body as you see here, or we can just pixelize the face. In the video in the upper right, we are providing a mask. So we're masking the individual so they can't be identified. And then with the use of LiDAR, those individuals are not identified. All we're doing is creating a 3D image. As you can see on the bottom left LiDAR image, we can't identify the individuals, but we can collect data on their various activities while they're in view of the device. And I hope that answered your question.
Yeah, on the lower right's a bunch of people just looking silly. Okay, all right.
Yeah, the lower right is just somebody being the
Yeah, I know. It's the example.
You're absolutely correct.
All right. No, that was my concern about, especially, you know, washing your hands in a restroom or something like that. I know there'd be concerns about privacy.
Well, absolutely. And I've had that concern voiced by other customers that they need the privacy, but they need also compliance. So these devices can be placed in an area that can, one, not identify anybody, and it's simply looking down from atop the sink, and that's all it sees is the sink and the hand washing activity.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
You're welcome. And that is the content of my presentation. If there's any questions, I'll certainly be happy to answer.
Hello, this
Chuck,
is
we got
I have one question. As far as how do you mitigate false positives? And the reason I ask that is coming from the secure sector. I've used this similar technology in the past, and I know there is a level of false positives, especially when it comes to the temperature reading for the body, and then looking at whether or not there's different temperature fluctuations for different reasons. So how is this handled?
Yeah, so the solution provides a 98% accuracy rating with a temperature variance of half degree tolerance on either side. So if we set the temperature threshold at 99.5, we will get temperatures anywhere, or we could get temperatures anywhere from 99 degrees to 100 degrees or over. So we do have some tolerance there. The analytic actually does a pretty good job of staying within those tolerances. We have the ability within the solution to recalibrate and reset those thresholds when the need arises. And that is something that we can provide to the end user as a part of the training process. So frequent calibration is important, as well as the ambient outside effects of the temperature. So if this is in a lobby of a business, when a person comes in from the outdoors, whether it's the wintertime or heat of the summertime, we need that 15-minute wait time before they are actually measured for temperature to get the most accurate temperature reading. And then on occasion, you'll get some people that have just a higher than normal body temperature. They're not sick, there's nothing wrong with them. Their temperature is just a little higher than other people. Those people would be referred to additional screening, and that is something that the customer would be responsible for. We can certainly identify those people but we don't provide a screening process for that type of detection.
Hi, Chuck. We've got one question in the chat. In the LiDAR slide, what do the colors of employees moving about represent?
The colors in the slide are created by the LiDAR analytics. And when a person moves into view of a LiDAR, the person's body is immediately volume sized. That means height and volume are identified. And then that person can be tracked through the entire LiDAR network with a specific LiDAR code that's created by the analytic. So once we identify a person, we can track them through the entire business as long as they're in view of a LiDAR each step of the way. Now, when they move out of the view of the LiDAR and come back in, they're recoded once again. What this analytic does in Genuine is it identifies and keeps all the particular persons separate with different LiDAR codes as they move through the business. So that's all the color code is doing there.
All right, Chuck, we got one more question. On the individual movement monitor, how do you identify or mark each person?
And will this be for the thermal solution?
I believe so.
No, Saron. I am trying to explain, if you mark in the movement of one point to another with a color line, how I identify or see this is a bunch of points there with colors. I think it's a person of there. The person have a badge or identify or some kind of device that you can read that make my movement inventory?
So in the video you're seeing now, the color coding is created by the LiDAR analytic. It's simply used to differentiate the individuals as they move through the location. So it does track one individual through the entire business or LiDAR network. And until that person leaves and then comes back, they'll have the same LiDAR insignia or LiDAR code that's given to them by the system. So, and again, this is just used to track that individual movement and collect the analytics. So each morning or each day or each time the person comes in and out of the business, they would be recoded by the LiDAR device. And they may come in as a blue color one day and it may be yellow the next day. It's all done by the analytic. And it's done by the LiDAR, identifying that person based on their 3D image and then tracking that image through the business.
Okay, previous you make the 3D scan and then you assign a color or a point to make the movement?
Yeah, the analytic does that. Absolutely.
Okay.
No, thanks for the presentation.
Thank you.
Do we have any more questions? All right. Well, Chuck, first off, thank you for the presentation. It's an excellent presentation. Thank you all for joining us. I mean, I don't know about you all, but one of my favorite things is being able to get off of a Zoom or webinar call early. So that's what we're going to try and have happen for you all. So we'll be following up with you all, to see, with the information you have, see if there's anything you would like more information with. So one of our reps will be following up. The next week, we will have another virtual event series. So we're having a series that's on, balancing and striking a balance between financial strategies and technical decisions. So the first in that series will be on unstructured data. I believe statistics said unstructured data is growing at a rate of 55 to 65% per year. And even during this COVID-19 stuff, I'm pretty sure unstructured data has not stopped growing. So we're going to have a webinar on, options that are available to you to, help manage that growth and help make sense of it. CENTS, finding the proper strategy for you and your budget and managing that unstructured data growth. So thank you all for joining us again, and we will be in touch soon. Have a good day.